February 2010, the small town of Fallbrook, California. 40-year-old Joseph, his 43-year-old wife Summer, and their two young sons, 4-year-old Gianni and 3-year-old Joseph Jr., disappeared from their home. Their disappearance was a shock to friends and family. What could have happened to a successful entrepreneur, his loving wife, and their children? For 3 long years, the mystery of their disappearance remained unsolved until November 2013, when the family's remains were found in shallow graves in the desert. But even after their discovery, questions remained unanswered, and rumors and speculation only grew stronger. On February 4, the McStay family seemed to disappear. It all started when Joseph, the owner of Earth-Inspired Products, a company that produces decorative fountains, failed to show up for an important business meeting. This immediately caused concern among his colleagues. His brother Michael, worried about the lack of communication, arrived at the McStay home and discovered a strange picture. Both of their dogs were locked in the yard, and uneaten food and everyday items were left in the house, as if the family had left in a hurry. On the one hand, there were no signs of violence or struggle in the house. On the other hand, important things needed for some kind of long trip were left untouched, which is illogical if a trip was planned. For example, Joseph Jr.'s toothbrush was left at home, which aroused the suspicions of investigators. Relatives claimed that the family would never have left dogs and personal belongings if they had really gone on a trip. The investigation received its first lead a few days after the disappearance. The family's white Isuzu Trooper SUV was found in a shopping center parking lot in San Isidro, near the Mexican border. Surveillance video taken the same day showed a family of 4 matching the McStays crossing the border on foot. This discovery gave rise to the theory that the family had voluntarily left for Mexico. Moreover, search queries related to a trip to this country were found on the McStays' computer. However, this version immediately drew criticism. Relatives claimed that Joseph and Summer avoided trips to Mexico due to safety concerns. The McStays also had no reason to suddenly leave. Joseph's business was thriving, and Summer was actively raising her children. The McStays' disappearance gave rise to many rumors. Some suggested that the family could have fled, hiding from debts or persecution. Others believed that they had been kidnapped or that they had become victims of a criminal showdown. One of the strangest versions was the assumption that the McStays had staged their disappearance in order to start a new life. But these versions looked unconvincing. The family's financial situation was stable, and no evidence of pressure or threats from third parties was found. Even if the McStays did cross the border, why leave behind dogs and personal belongings like children's toys that children would likely want to take with them? On November 11, 2013, motorcyclist riding through the desert near Victorville stumbled upon human remains. Police arrived to find 2 shallow graves. One contained the remains of adults, the other of children. Nearby was a rusty sledgehammer, which was later identified as the murder weapon. Forensic experts confirmed that the remains belonged to Joseph, Summer, Gianni, and Joseph Jr. This discovery dashed any hope that the McStays might be alive. They had obviously been brutally murdered. How did the bodies end up in the desert? What happened the day they disappeared? Who could have committed such a brutal crime? Immediately after the bodies were discovered, investigators began reviewing old evidence. Police focused on Joseph's business partner, Charles Chase Merritt. Merritt, who worked with Joseph in the fountain business, was the last person to communicate with him before he disappeared. Merritt became the focus of the investigation after police found his DNA in the family's car. In addition, financial records showed that after the McStays disappeared, he wrote himself several checks from Joseph's business account for more than $20,000. He spent the money at a casino, which only increased suspicions. In November 2014, Merritt was arrested and charged with the murders of the McStay family. Prosecutors claimed that the motive was financial gain. Merritt killed Joseph to cover up his fraud, and killed the rest of the family to eliminate witnesses. The trial lasted almost 5 years. Merritt's defense argued that the evidence against him was circumstantial and that police did not pursue other possible leads. However, the prosecution presented phone records, GPS data, and financial documents that they said linked Merritt to the murder. In June 2019, a jury convicted Merritt of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to death in January 2020. Despite Merritt's conviction, many aspects of the case remain unsolved. One of the main mysteries is the crime scene. The family's bodies were found in a desert, but investigators have not determined exactly where the murders took place. There is also a lack of direct evidence linking Merritt to the desert, which has led to criticism of the police. Some experts speculate that the McStays may have been victims of a criminal group. Joseph's business was booming, and someone may have wanted access to his assets. Others believe that the family may have been embroiled in a showdown that even their closest relatives were unaware of. Rumors also surround Summer McStay. During the investigation, some sources claimed that she may have had conflicts with members of Joseph's family, but no evidence was found. Many of the investigators who worked on the case admit that this is one of the most difficult cases in their careers. Even after the verdict, the public continues to question whether the whole truth has been revealed. And for the family and friends of the McStays, only the memory of 4 lives that ended so tragically remains. The McStay case remains one of the darkest mysteries in modern forensics. What really happened in the house that winter of 2010? Why did a successful and happy family suddenly disappear? Was the convicted criminal really the only culprit? The answers to these questions may never be found. In the meantime, the McStay story serves as a reminder of how fragile human life is and how little we sometimes know about those around us.